Now, can you tell us some of the common mistakes that you see in new businesses?
Sure. Well, not knowing. So first off, underselling yourself. Right now, if you think about it, the 39% of all businesses in the United States are women-owned. There are 10 million businesses. Of the 27.5, 10.9 are women-owned businesses.
I love it.
10.9 million businesses employ 19.1 people in the country, which means most small businesses, most women-owned businesses are small businesses. Okay? They're 2 and 3 people shops.
Yeah.
Totally cool. Interestingly enough, 98.6% of all businesses have 20 or less employees. So most, it's interesting that it's 98.6%.
Yeah.
But 20 employees or less. Only 1.4% of businesses have more than 20 employees.
That's shocking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So the small to mid-sized business is the just the lifeblood of our economy.
Okay.
And so one of the big mistakes people make early on is underselling ourselves, because just because we're small, just because we're new, just because we work out of the basement, it doesn't mean we can't charge a premium price. We are in the age of specialization. So if you go on a Pinterest account or a blog and you're interested in that topic and you start engaging in that, you are in a community of people that are passionate about fill in the blank, whatever it is. Creating knitting blankets that you would then sell. You're going to attract people who love to knit, who love to have those blankets. Yeah. And those people will pay more for that product or service than most early stage entrepreneurs believe. They will often undersell themselves because they're new.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's new now.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're providing the value, you're 5 times of what you want to charge. You can charge whatever you want up to that 5 times.
Yeah.
As long as you're bringing more value than what you're charging. So it's a big mistake early on is to undervalue what you bring to the table.
So is that where you come in? Do you show your clients how to speak to that? Because I can say, being a new business, when someone says, well, why would you charge this when you're new and so-and-so's been here 15 years, you have to know how to speak to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So think about it this way. I'll give you a quick formula to know if you can raise your pricing or not. So I'm going to throw out a couple of questions. Think of a number, right?
Okay.
If you were to raise your prices 1%, if you call all of your clients and say, I've got to raise prices 1%, what percentage of your customers would leave you?
I would say 0.
0.
Yeah.
Okay. So what if you raise your prices 3%? What percentage of your customers might leave?
0.
0.
Yeah.
Okay. 5%.
I'll hear complaints, but I think, yeah.
Might get a couple here and there.
Yeah.
Right? 7%, 10%. Right? At what point, if you were to increase your prices across the board, would you start getting customers fleeing?
That's a good way to look at it.
Now, if you said that you can raise your prices at all and get 0 leaving, what that means is that your customer base loves you for something more than the utility of your product or your service.
Okay.
Right? So if you do oil changes, and you can change your prices 1%, nobody would leave. That means they like something beyond just the oil change.
Yeah.
They like you or your family or your values or the creative way that you do it. You pick up and you drop off, that sort of thing. They like you for the intangibles. The intangibles are worth more to the customer than the actual product or service.
Yeah.
That's a big mistake. That's when I said you undervalue.
Yeah.
So that's the formula. How much could we raise prices before someone would ever leave? And you should raise your prices to that level now. No waiting.
I love it. I love it. That's really, really good stuff. So I have another question for you.
Of course.
Social media. Being a millennial,
Right.
social media is what we do. How has that affected business, technology, and social media?
Yeah. So social media is great. Now, the second you take your device out and you start tweeting, posting, whatever, you are building a brand. But you might not be building your brand. Okay, social media now is a tool to become an authority in your niche.
Okay.
In business, almost nothing more. So think about this for a second. Starbucks is known as one of the top cafes, and so would you think Starbucks would like it when new cafes came into the marketplace, or would you think they would be worried about the competition?
Like it.
They would like it.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why is because a number of them will fail. Now think about it. What do you think it does to Starbucks brand, or any brand for that matter, when a newbie comes in, starts tweeting out, we're in the marketplace, we're going to take over, and then they fail? Starbucks says, this stuff is hard. Aren't we good? You know what I mean? Like, this is, you know, and so all of a sudden they say, yeah, come on into the marketplace, challenge us. And in the background, they're thinking, well, if they're anywhere successful, we could buy them. But if they're not successful, they will prove our point of the strength of our brand. So in social media, be very careful. If you are just tweeting out to tell the world that you're eating a donut on the corner on a sunny day, you're building somebody else's brand, not yours. Now, I'm not saying don't be social.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that when you generate social media content, you should have three types. You should have what we call mainstream content,
Okay.
then comparative content, then competitive content.
Okay.
And so the mainstream content is anything that your audience, your ideal client avatar would be interested in. So if it's 40-year-old women, what is going on in their life that might be interesting to them that's not related to your product or service?
Okay.
That's mainstream information. That's how we capture their imagination and their interest.
Okay.
And then we do what we call comparative information. And comparative information is what would life be like if you try to do all the stuff that I do on your own, or if you were to hire somebody like me.
Okay.
Like mistakes people make when hiring a business coach. How to choose the right TV show. You know.
Yeah.
Do you hire a landscaper or do you garden on your own? That's comparative information.
Yeah.
And then the third type is what we call competitive information. Competitive is us versus them, right? So phone company says, number one, aren't you tired of those high bills? Wouldn't you like to be able to roll over your minutes? That's competitive, right?
Yeah.
Where we're saying we're better than the other guys or the other gals. So social media should have those three components, and because you're driving everybody to build your expertise. That's the way you use social media properly.
I love it. And this, folks, is why he's internationally known. Can you talk about some of your books? Tell us about your books.
Sure. So I bought this book. This is the Biz Dev Done Right, which is a deep dive into sales and sales management. And we wanted, my co-author Karen Kopp and I, we wanted to demystify the sales process because it sounds like such a daunting thing. How do I sell, and do I have to be pushy, and what does it take for me to convince somebody to buy something? Do I have to force them? Do I have to be like that used car salesman? And it's just the opposite. People are dying to buy.
Yeah.
They can't wait. I just went on vacation. I gave my two kids a certain amount of spend money. We're going back to the plane. We're like, you have any spend money? They're like, Dad, are you
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I mean, so and we all do it. So we love to be consumers. And so this philosophy is, how do you just get in the way of their buying habits? Take away the barriers to them not buying, and they're happy to buy. And so we take a deep dive into what makes people buy. How do you hire top salespeople? How do you manage sales teams? Because developing a salesperson is different than developing sales.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between a sales producer and a sales manager? And so we get into depth, and it's very, very practical. You can open up to any chapter, pick things out, and then action those items right away.
I love it. And how can people find your books? How can they find you?
So carlgould.com is the easiest way to find me, and that'll be the gateway to finding out all the things that we have. But you can find us on Amazon, in bookstores, and that'll lead you to some of our other books as well.
Okay, thank you so much for spending time. I feel like a millionaire already.
We're on our way.
Yes, and this is the books, folks. One more time, say your website.
carlgould.com.
And thank you for sitting with myself and the ladies of Daily Buzz 716.
Well, thanks for having me.